So I'm finally taking a week off, and I'm just gonna buckle down and write the script. That was the intent. You always go through these writer blocks, and so I thought it would be cool if I would just practice telling stories, because this is supposed to be what I do anyways, you know, I'm a storyteller, in acting, writing. I'm gonna practice telling a story, and I thought I would just record it and throw it up. So, what story should I tell? I know. Okay, quick disclaimer, if you are uncomfortable with talk of excrements, you should probably turn off the video right now, because this is totally my comfort zone, or my discomfort zone. I have this history with food. I mean, everyone has a history with food. I have this history of eating, like, weird foods and expired foods, and I don't know why, I just always tend to do that. When I was living with this house full of guys, we used to have this tub of kimchi, and I'd have a jar of jam. Sometimes we would have bread, and sometimes we would have rice, but we never really... The combination of what we had at the time was always weird, and I always ended up making kimchi sandwiches, rice with jam on it. So I have a history with eating strange foods, is what I'm trying to say. This was a trip, me and a couple of friends driving to Calgary. We were gonna help a friend move back to Vancouver, and so it was a road trip to Calgary and then a road trip back. So we drive to Calgary, no problem. We're crashing at my friend's house for the night. He's almost pretty much packed up. He had an empty fridge, and we were all hungry, but it was so late that everything was closed, so we didn't go out for food. No one really cares. Like, okay, we'll just sleep and we'll grab something in the morning. I'm helping out clean out this storage unit. I stumble upon a box of cereal, mini wheats. I love mini wheats. I see this box of mini wheats. I'm like, that's yours? The box of mini wheats. And hey Dan, is that yours? Can I have it? And he's like, yeah, that's mine, but yeah, I don't know how long it's been there. It could be like a year and a half old. I completely ignored what he said there. Stuck my hand in and started munching on it. Brought it back up to the apartment. And of course I offered it to everybody. No one would have it. I guess they weren't as hungry as I was. So I ended up finishing this. It was half a box. There's always like that layer of sugar at the bottom. I even finished that off. I was that hungry. I think it was about 2 hours later. I just felt it. There was this feeling. I just ran to the bathroom. I sat there all night. I don't think I even said anything. Basically, I was in there for the first hour. They start knocking on the door. He's like, hey Oz, you all right in there? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just gonna be in here for a bit. I hope you guys don't need it. Pretty much just emptied my bowels. There's a lot of mini wheats that had to come out. I mean, it's cereal. I didn't think it could get that bad. In my mind, even now, I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, it's wheat, it's grain, it's sugar. Does it go bad? Obviously, it does go bad. Anyways, spent the night in the bathroom, got up the next day. So we pack up the car. Dan's friend, Sam, he sends us off. Super nice guy. And he goes into his car, and in the back, he finds this box of Shreddies. Of course it was open. He's like, hey, if you guys are hungry, I got this box of Shreddies. No one even mentioned the fact that I was gonna eat another box of open cereal that who knows how long it's been there. I hadn't eaten anything since I completely emptied myself, so I was starving. None of us thought about it. And I was the only one that ate it. And I finished it, and this was like a 3/4 box. It didn't occur to me that it could be bad at all. But it tasted great, and I was hungry, and I drove 10 hours straight, almost to Vancouver, felt nothing. All of a sudden, it hits me. I'm sweating. Like, I can just, I hold it together, but I'm starting to sweat, and I'm beating here, I'm beating. Every time I would pass a sign, I'm just hoping, is this an exit? For like miles, there was no exit. And all I'm hoping for is an exit with the gas station, anything. I was this close to just pulling over, dropping my pants and going in the woods, which would have been super uncomfortable because this was one of those times where I just needed to take my sweet ass time. We passed the first exit, but it was just empty. There's nothing, so we had to keep going, and I'm still sweating, breathing hard. I felt like I was in a Lamaze class. Eventually we find a Tim Hortons. And the first thing I do when I open that door is I start unbuttoning my pants, zipping it down, just beelined it to the bathroom. I'm very sanitary. I like to lay out toilet paper on the seat so there's a layer between, because you never know who might have used it or what might have smeared or germs. We ended up staying at that Tim Hortons for like 2 hours. So I'm thinking this box of cereal wasn't a year and a half old. Maybe it was only half a year old. I would like to think that the next time I see a box of open cereal that I won't just go for it. I would like to think that. But I probably would.